Welcome to Thunderbolt. Today we're talking about working for the international organization like the UN. And to do that, I have invited Jin, my former student, and I'm very proud to have her here. Welcome. All right.
Thank you for having me. First of all, my name is Jin, and I worked as a second secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for 3.5 years. So today I'm going to share some of my experience. I majored in international relations and public policy in my bachelor and a master degree. So based on my previous school days major, I learned the significance and the influence of the international organizations, policies, and impact. So naturally, at the time, I had a dream to work in the World Bank, especially to evaluate the development policy and how to give them a feedback to the workers in the field. So naturally, it leads to my interest in the policy making, hopefully to design more effective policy. And then I started my career as a researcher at the research-funded institute in the Sejong city of Korea. Then, based on that experiences, I joined the MOFA through a special recruitment of public officers, not the typical type of the test to go to the MOFA. So I spent about 3.5 years.
What are some of the required qualifications for a foreign service officer?
They can manage the qualification, but to name one, I would like to say that to solve the one phenomenon, we need to see the multidimensional analysis. When we think about the climate change crisis and the carbon neutrality, and over a decade, there was a hot topic in G20 or the OECD meetings was about the fossil fuel. Already developed countries like some European countries and the US, they can say that, it is time we need to target the carbon neutrality and let's phase out the fossil fuel. But on the other hand, developing countries, they still need fossil fuel to boost their own industry. So as a public official of the Korea, we need to say about our government-owned statement, and we need to speak in the international formal meetings. So when we stand for our government stance, we need to see what is the issues of each other's countries and what can our government say very carefully, but at the same time accurately.
How has mentorship played a role in your professional journey?
I had a privilege to work with 3 excellent leaders when I worked at the MOFA. Unforgettable memory with one of my female managers was the time when I preparing for the summit, which the 10 leaders came to the Korea and we prepared for the summit for 1 year. So just before the summit, we had meetings with the foreign minister level and the sectoral meetings, which took about a whole week. And we had things to do a final checkup before the summit, and the sectoral meetings were held simultaneously. So including me and our team members and our leader, she seemed very soft and very generous personally, but she was very meticulous and thorough in her work life. So likewise, I believe that setting a great example to the co-worker and the colleagues is one of the most important attributes as a leader. And also to make them to think and admit them to they had a useful time when we worked with her was a great asset to her. So after the relentless discussion and relentless work with her, sometimes we spend a whole day and night, but we are not really exhausted, but we feel that it was our great stepping stone for us in our career. So that will be the great mentorship that I had before. And as for me, now I get to start mentoring my new team members. So rather than giving advice, I try to listen their some of the hardship and the challenges in their routine. So I try to solve their actual difficulties. That's how I mentor my staff and the colleagues.
Any specific projects or achievements that you experienced and that you're proud of?
Memorable achievement to me that the time when I wrote the presidential speech in preparing for the APEC summit.
Wow.
It was scheduled to be announced during the CEO summit, which all of the 27 leaders and the key businessmen gathered together in 1 week. So I was in charge of writing the former President Moon's speech to be announced in there. So in order to write the speech, according to the given topic, which is about carbon neutrality, so I discussed it with a relevant ministry in Korea, domestic entities, and I wrote a speech reflecting our government's statements. So at the time, the key was to deliver the government positions accurately and concisely. And definitely it requires some countless consideration and revision, but it was a very rewarding experience to me.
Wow, I did not know that. That's amazing. Wow. All right. And let me throw in one more question. I know this is something completely off that you didn't prepare for, but now that you've been seen in being in the professional field and experience how Korea is, how is it? How is Korea being viewed in the eyes of the foreigners?
Korea. I see that the Korea is working has a strong power as the position of the middle power. In the past, Korea was, as we know, it was a developing countries, but we boost our industry in the social and the economic side. So we have a position in the middle power. So we are working very well in the international organization, and we work as a coordination position. So we organize some of the sectoral meetings to partially to talk about the issues by topic. So Korea nowadays more and more organize and lead the topics, and I can say that we work good as the middle power country.
Any advice for some of our students who wish to work for the UN or like the World Bank, like you yourself once did?
Be a journalist and a specialist at the same time. So when we work at the MOFA, we need to rotate the divisions one or 2 years. So I say that it's a training time for the junior. So first of all, to be the journalist, always be curious and be interested about the news surrounding your environment in your area. So based on my experience when I worked at the public officers in MOFA, we had so many times to have a dinner or the luncheon or going to the business trip. We have so many opportunity to meet the diplomatic corps in that country. So when we have a conversation, when we have a meeting, we start to talk about the small talk. And it has something issues about the political economies and K-pop or even sports.
So being culturally aware,
and also the society and economy, political side all over the world. So it needs a comprehensive views.
You can't be a boring person, I guess.
Yes.
All right. I remember writing on my blog saying that Korea is a very small country. But a strong country. No matter which direction that you go, once the airplane lifts, it will be out of the Korean peninsula within 15 minutes. But the USA, just to go from New York to Los Angeles, that's 6 hours and 30 minutes, right? There's much bigger, grander world out there, and we should learn about them, and we should learn about what great opportunities lies around us and beyond us. So, and thank you for your wonderful talk, and thank you for your aspiring, inspirational talk, and it inspired me. So, thank you.
Thank you for having me.